Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for tuning in. It's time for news tonight with me, Micheal, Lukomwa, this Wednesday, the very 3rd day of July, 2024. We'll go straight to what we have for you this evening. President Yoweri Museveni has welcomed a delegation of investors from Laika Mobile Telephone Company during their courtesy visit to him at State House in Entebbe. Led by the chairman of the company, Subaskaran Ali Raja, the delegation included Minister of Information and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, and the Executive Director of the Uganda Communications Commission, George William Nyombi Tembo. Julian Mwehere, the Director of Industry Affairs and Content Development at UCC, stated that the purpose of the delegation's visit to State House in Entebbe was to express their gratitude to President Museveni for the support provided to the company while launching its services in Uganda. Since commencing operations in Uganda in 2022, Laika Mobile has successfully acquired 1 million subscribers. President Museveni conveyed his appreciation for the positive impact of Laika Mobile services in the country and commended the company for its achievements. Subaskaran assured the president that they offer cheap services which are affordable to all Ugandans. The meeting was also attended by State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Micheal Riem, who joined in the discussions. President Yoweri Museveni has this afternoon hosted the visiting Chief of the General Staff of the Ethiopian National Defense Force, Field Marshal Burhanu Jula, at State House in Entebbe. Field Marshal Burhanu Jula, who was accompanied by the UPDF Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, and the Ambassador of Ethiopia to Uganda, His Excellency Estengenet Bezabi, was paying a courtesy visit to President Museveni. The president highlighted to his guests issues covering strategies adopted by the NRM government to foster social and economic transformation in Uganda and strategic measures taken by the government to rectify past mistakes. President Yoweri Museveni, still in other news, held a consultative meeting this evening with a delegation of scientists from Kira Motors Corporation at State House in Entebbe. The delegation, led by Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Msenero, briefed the president on the progress of the Kayola buses. The president and the delegation further discussed how to collaborate in positioning the Kayola buses for the regional market. Kira Motors Corporation, the CEO Paul Isaac Musasizi, informed the president that the buses have been successfully tested in the market and received client approval for their efficiency. President Museveni, for his part, reaffirmed his unwavering support towards Kira Motors Corporation. Uganda's Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Robin Nabanja, has called on Sudanese women to create impact that will last beyond their lives in an effort to rebuild peace in their country. Nabanja said that Sudanese must invest in quality education and health and security of their country for the women to thrive in their communities. She was this afternoon opening a 2-day high-level Sudanese Women's Dialogue Conference at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala, as we see in this report.
In April 2023, the Sudanese Armed Forces clashed with Rapid Support Services, a paramilitary group, which has since the African country torn in 2 pieces. The women, girls and children have become #1 victims and thousands have been left homeless. Now Sudanese women are meeting in Kampala to amplify the voices and concerns of women and girls of Sudan, enhance coalition building among women and provide a platform for women to jointly articulate and develop a common vision for rebuilding peace in Sudan. The Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, opened the conference at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala.
When we empower women, we guarantee, galvanize, and ensure the future of our children. When we empower women, we empower our societies in a more sustainable way. And so to empower a woman, we must invest in quality education and health. Most importantly, we must invest in security of our nations and the region at large for women to thrive in their communities.
Nabanja has called on Sudanese women to create an impact that will last beyond their lives in an effort to rebuilding peace in their country, Sudan.
It's important that as women of Sudan, your voices are heard and held as valuable, especially in our united efforts to bring peace to the African continent and Sudan in particular. We must utilize the collective power of women to build a better tomorrow for all.
Former Vice President Dr. Specioza Wanderakazibwe, who is also a member of the high-level panel on Sudan, and the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Among, underscored the importance of women in governance on the African continent.
As we talk now, you as Sudanese women, not only look at the political front, but where things also happen after the leaders have made the policies. Education. Education. Who are the educated women? What are they doing?
Vice President, this country had first female Vice President. Are you not the first one in Africa? As it's the first female Vice President in Africa. You did very well and you opened the doors for us. So women leaders must do very well so that they open doors for others to come in.
She can jump into a boat for you. You are saying, oh, the Prime Minister, what if an accident occurs? What if she drowns? She will jump into a boat to look for women who are on the island and want our services. That's why we finally.
The outcome of the conference will feed into the upcoming peace process dialogues to be convened by the African Union high-level panel on Sudan.
The Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authority and State Enterprises, that's COSASE, has faulted Uganda's Civil Aviation Authority for mismanagement of funds. The committee revealed that UCAA instead spent 115 billion, yet its budget for wage payment was only 96 billion. The authority was tasked to present relevant documents to justify the increment.
The Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authority and State Expenditure has engaged with the management of Uganda's Civil Aviation Authority to discuss the Auditor General's report for the financial year 2022-2023. The committee noted that Uganda's Civil Aviation Authority was allocated a total of 242.122 billion shillings, where the authority collected 239.13 billion less than the budget. The Director of Finance, Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, responded.
This was a year immediately after COVID, and you may also be aware that the budgeting process begins almost a year before. So ideally these projections were done in 2021 after we had even been guided by the International Civil Aviation Organization about traffic in the world.
The committee interested itself in finding out how the authority has implemented outputs and activities. It was discovered that a total of 240 billion was spent on activities, yet out of this amount, 172 billion was spent on activities that were not implemented.
When you ask funds for a particular activity, you know what it means when you alter from that very decision to another one. Because now it becomes very hard for us to know whether the money was properly utilized.
In the year 2022-2023, the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority wage expenditure, according to the Auditor General's report, suppressed the allocated 96 billion.
Give an explanation. Y96, Y115, Y1.
You spent beyond your budget.
What the Auditor General said is not, eventually you will see it that is explained in this very, very document.
The MPs also wanted to know how the authority paid 28 billion on what it termed as other staff costs.
A lot of money being hidden into the word other.
When you see a big figure under others, it creates unnecessary suspicion.
Yes. This is not rocket science. You know, you mean you don't know your staff?
I request through the DG chair, we provide the breakdown of this 28 billion. It will show in detail.
According to the Auditor General's report, concerns of payment of non-existent staff, irregular overpayment of staff, and appointments of staff that do not meet qualifications were raised. The authority responded to the claims.
In the course of the year, if people exit, you are mandated to pay.
The authority was also tasked to explain on the recent reports about the drainage system at Entebbe Airport.
And partly we have been able to control the water, and we are going to do it aligned to our developments. We are doing that, Honorable.
The committee tasked the authority to present relevant documents in the next meeting. Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gwitabinji, Parliament.
Vice President Jessica Alupo has refuted claims that President Yoweri Museveni was misguided on the matter pertaining to budget reallocation by Parliament. Alupo clarified after a heated debate in Parliament fueled blame games as MPs reconsidered the appropriation bill of 2024 as returned by the President. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, directed for a forensic query on the Treasury operations as fronted in the government priorities. The MPs utilized an environment seemingly in a world of hurt to reconsider the budget, concluding that a similar situation does not reoccur. We shall have the Vice President's story later on. Let's continue this way. Uganda has officially commenced the direct importation of refined petroleum products from Mombasa port in Kenya. The first oil consignment of petrol was received this morning by Energy and Mineral Development Minister Ruth Nankariwa at the new Kipevu oil terminal in Mombasa.
This is the entrance of new Kipevu oil terminal 2 in Mombasa, Kenya. It is where all Uganda's oil imports will be handled. On arrival at the facility, we established the terminal has the capacity to handle 3 vessels simultaneously.
Upon completion of this facility, we created 24 million metric tons of capacity per year. So we are operating at 30% of our capacity.
Captain Patrick Onyango is charged with the responsibility of ensuring that the 2 vessels carrying Uganda's oil dock safely at Mombasa port. Speaking in an interview, he reveals his wealth of experience in handling the assignments before him.
I've not been a captain for small vessels. I've been a captain of big vessels, only big vessels. I've not sailed on board small vessels. I've sailed around the world on such vessels, big vessels only, not small vessels. I trained as a captain. It took me 12 years to train. From the time you are recruited as a cadet, 12 years. I trained abroad throughout. I was recruited in 1989 by Kenya Ports Authority. I was 19 years old by then. So they took me to UK and I trained in UK.
Previously, Uganda was getting its oil from Mombasa through various middlemen who would sell to a Ugandan oil marketing company that later sells the oil to the final consumer in Uganda. But with this new development, Uganda is now set to start importing its own oil without going through the long process that gives middlemen the liberty to inflate oil prices.
To make money out of this opportunity, many middlemen were actually enjoying this process. Now, this is a Ugandan oil company bringing this value to the country, and I think that's what's really, really crucial.
While the milestone is to boost Uganda's oil reserves, it is not likely to reduce oil prices as one would assume.
But what we can guarantee is that we shall have at least enough stock in the country to make sure that at all times we don't have any lack of supply.
In November 2023, President Yoweri Museveni held talks with his Kenyan counterpart and reported to him some Kenyan government officials working with dishonest people in the oil trade. At that time, Kenya had entered a government-to-government deal with Saudi Arabia for oil supply to sell to regional markets. But after back-and-forth negotiations, Uganda later earned a direct license of importing its own oil without being cheated through middlemen. Diano Oloin-Peters, UBC News in Mombasa, Kenya.
We'll now take you back to that story of the Vice President, where she refuted claims that President Yoweri Museveni was misguided on the matter of pertaining to the budget reallocation by Parliament. She clarified after a heated debate in Parliament fueled blame guns as MPs reconsidered the appropriation bill of 2024 that was returned to Parliament by the President. The Speaker, during that debate, directed for a forensic query on the Treasury operations as fronted in the government priorities.
Madam Speaker.
Indiscipline, sabotage and corruption are the three mistakes which the President highlighted in his letter to Parliament in relation to the budget process. The MPs on Tuesday plenary session reconsidered the budget as returned by the President. In the pursuit to trace the origin of the mistakes which led to the reallocation of the budget priorities, the House blamed the accounting officers of different MDAs who initiate the budget.
Some of these allocations, just will you allow me?
Honorable Nzima.
Yes, please.
So the wrong starts from the ministry.
Yes.
To finance.
Yes. Can I explain? Can I explain?
To cabinet.
Madam Speaker, I don't want information. All of you have spoken. Let me speak. Madam Speaker, what happens here is that when these items come, the various ministries will begin to agitate for other issues which are not the issues they agreed with the President.
Late presentation of the addendum by the executive was also cited as a disgrace to the budget process. A section of MPs think that the President was misguided.
We put money in health, we put money in ambulances, we put money in primary schools. Who misguided the President that we were taking money away from his priorities?
Whoever has blackmailed members of Parliament to His Excellency the President has done the worst thing to the ordinary Ugandans.
I pray that we listen to each other, and I also pray that we lend each other an ear. And
members, let's listen.
But the MPs want to ensure that the same situation does not reoccur.
These mistakes, I have agreed we can proceed. We will proceed just because it is normal to proceed for the sake of peace. But these wrongs will haunt us.
Letter is castigating Parliament that we are thieves, yet we have indicated where we had put money in good faith. So, Madam Speaker, I want to applaud you, but I want to request you, in the future, we need to bring the President to appreciate what the members of Parliament are doing in good faith.
The Prime Minister Robin Anabanja informed the MPs that the President has the right to make decisions according to the priorities of government.
Right Honorable Speaker, the President brought that manifesto and Ugandans supported it.
Order.
And so, Right Honorable Speaker, I want members also appreciate that the President has got a role in decision making.
The Vice President, Jessica Alupo, debunked claims that the President was misguided on the operations of Parliament.
I think that the Office of the President has so many channels of communicating with the whole of Uganda, including communicating to Parliament itself and all of us. I didn't want us to leave
that open, because it would look that we have some suspects who are misleading His Excellency the President.
Butambala County MP Mwanga Chivumbi raised a concern that the reconsidered budget also risks being repurposed and the said unfunded priorities reappear in various supplementary budgets. The Attorney General Chirowa Chiwanuka responded.
Now, as we do all this with the embarrassment, can we get a commitment from the minister that whatever we do, come in the next 2 months, you are not going to sit down and repurpose and reallocate money that we have passed?
We can assure you, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, that we shall operate within the budget and in accordance with the law. It may be unfair for us to stand here and promise to the House that we will not come back to ask for your consideration of any other matters, because that means we will be playing God. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. We don't know the needs of this country, what the needs of this country will be.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, asked that the Office of the Auditor General interest itself on the vote 130 of Treasury operations, which the MPs questioned the allocation of funds to Roko Construction Company.
Treasury operation, that vote 130 has a lot of loopholes. Trillions of money are piled there and spent. I've discovered 400 billion, which they cannot account for.
Honorable Minister of Finance, I'm going to ask Auditor General to do a forensic audit on vote 130.
The House reconsidered the Appropriation Bill 2024 as returned by the President in a spirit of biting a bullet.
No disagreement about that.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
That was in Parliament yesterday. The last phase of the public consultations on the Anti-Counterfeit Goods and Services Bill of 2023 has taken place in Kampala. In attendance were members of the public, legislators, the business community, government agencies, among others.
So in conclusion,
after the final public consultations on the Anti-Counterfeit Goods and Services Bill 2023 that has been held in Kampala, the next step is to take the views of the various stakeholders into consideration and make changes to the bill before the mover of the bill, Honorable Asuman Basalirwa, presenting it for the first reading in Parliament, after which it will be sent to the respective committee for scrutiny.
Before we then have the final bill debated on the floor of Parliament and hopefully a parliamentary resolution passing it as an act of Parliament. So this process has finally ended. We just left with one more engagement. We have a parliamentary expo on the 31st of July, which is intended to showcase the existence and extent of counterfeits, real products on the market.
Anti-Counterfeit Bill seeks to prohibit trade of goods that infringe upon the intellectual property rights, to require intellectual property rights to cover only copyright and trademarks, and to prohibit release of counterfeit goods for commercial gain.
So the mother is there confessing that she has bought 10 syrups, but the cough in the kid is not, and nobody is questioning. Somebody is saying, the farmers who are here, you know the complaints we've been having with the drugs for the animals. So saying, but what is happening? We are treating these cows. There is no cure. Somebody says we've used all forms of pesticides, fertilizers. Nobody is addressing the real problem.
At the meeting in Kampala, the private sector players raised concerns on how difficult it is to compete with counterfeit products on the same market space.
The most important, before they do anything for the bill, let them first do research and see how many, because this bill, the penalties they are going to put, where are they taking the prisoners? There will be full. There are too many. Let them first do research and see the appropriate penalty to give them, the proper punishment to give them. Let them first study how dangerous it is
what they are faking. Imagine, you go to the market, you say, I want a better one, you want a genuine one or a fake one? Why should that thing be there?
The public consultations on the Anti-Counterfeit Goods and Services Bill 2023 have lasted for 3 months, covering 9 districts in the northern, eastern, western and finally in the central region of the country. Dennis Igoa and Theopista Kemigisha for UBC News.
Kampala Capital City Authority, that's KCCA, is set to phase out 27 traditional roundabouts and construct 27 signalized junctions. With funding from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, approximately 78 billion Uganda shillings has been injected into the project. As Justin Nakami reports, some of the identified traffic choke points include Renzori Courts Roundabout, Grand Imperial Mulago Roundabout, Mulago City Mortuary Area, and Mulago Kubiri Roundabout.
One of the most pressing challenges in Kampala City is traffic congestion in, around, and out of the central business district. This has led to reduced productivity among the city's workforce and business owners, increased travel times, higher road maintenance costs, and more air pollution. To alleviate this, KCCA, in partnership with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency (JICA), is upgrading over 27 traditional junctions to signalized ones. According to KCCA spokesperson Daniel Nwabine Mhumza, the authority has so far commenced work on 5 roundabouts currently under construction.
We have junctions that are going to be completely transformed. For example, Mulago, Kubiri, and at the mortuary, those are going to be completely overhauled, as well as one at Nakasero as you're going up to State House. Those are going to be fully overhauled.
The KCCA site inspector at Mulago explains the duration these works are expected to take.
From the last meetings we had, we are about 56%. It's projected to end next year by April.
Additionally, he cites the challenges they encounter in completing these works.
Basically, the public to understand what we are doing is the biggest challenge we have had. So there have been complaints of delays.
However, Ugandans are being urged to exercise patience and remain calm, as the ongoing works will ultimately benefit them.
Appeal to the public to remain calm, especially now that the construction is ongoing and during the testing of the lights once they come, because after it has all been done, we shall have a more regulated traffic within the city and a smoother flow, which will sort out our jam issues.
As part of the 78 billion Ugandan shillings granted to KCCA for upgrading the 27 traditional junctions to signalized ones, some funding has been allocated to the construction of a traffic control center at City Hall. This center will manage traffic flow using a digital system connected to the signalized junctions. Justin Nakami, Faith Cayenne, UBC News.
Former Lubaga resident city commissioner Anderson Herbert Burora has been charged and remanded to Luzira prisons on allegations of spreading hate speech and malicious information ridiculing the person and dignity of the Speaker of Parliament, that's the Right Honourable Anita Among. Burora pleaded not guilty to the charges.
Suspended and former Lubaga resident City Commissioner Anderson Herbert appeared at Buganda Road Magistrates Court to plead 2 charges following his arrest on Monday night from his home in Ntinda Chigowa, Nakawa Division, Kampala District. Before Buganda Road Chief Magistrate Ronald Kaizi, Anderson Herbert faced 2 counts of spreading hate speech and spreading malicious information against the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among.
Of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda.
Anderson Burora was charged under the Computer Misuse Act of 2022. However, he pleaded not guilty to all the alleged charges. Burora's legal team raised objections, disputing the legality of the charges and the undisclosed particulars of the offences against their client.
The gist of the section is that the particulars of the charge sheet must contain sufficient facts, shall contain and shall be sufficient if it contains one, a statement of the offense or offences with which the chosen person is charged, together with such particulars as may be necessary for giving personal information as to nature of the offense.
Due to time constraints in responding to the defense's concern, the prosecution requested the additional time to prepare a reply which court granted. Magistrate Rwandika is remanded Anderson Bulola to Luzira Government Prison until July 9, 2024. The date set for the prosecution to respond to the defense's raised issues. The former RCC Rubaga Anderson Bulola was later remanded. Bulola's arrest on Monday followed a post on his official X handle at Hada HB between March and June 2024, which prosecution alleges that could promote hostility against the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among. Before being charged in this court, Bulola was initially held at Kira Road Police Station before being transferred to CPS in Kampala. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Less than 2 months after the eviction exercise, some of the people evicted from Lubigi wetlands have returned, occupying what they claim to be their land. Many have already erected makeshift structures and tents to shelter themselves.
In May, the National Environment Management Authority carried out an eviction of illegal encroachers at Lubigi wetland under Lubigi restoration exercise. Residential houses, businesses, schools and churches were demolished during the operation. Despite the eviction, a few weeks later, people have once again erected makeshift structures and tents for shelter and business purposes.
Ketonye kagwake tugenda kubeera wano tosobola kummenyera nyumba n'ongamba nti vaawo kati ndagewo n'essomero baalimenya abantu abava mu nsi endala bababudamya naye ffe tebasobola kutubudamya babeereko kye batuwa twagala bwenkanya.
Some have even started building permanent structures on the same sites from which they were evicted.
Kati gavumenti ejje tuyambe ba MP mwena tubayita betwalonda awenasana tetunabamulaba.
With much determination, some people we talked to vowed not to leave until NEMA compensates them.
Ano sivaawo okuleka amaze okufuna obwenkanya wano seesenza wabula nagolawo 2 senga nali neesenza chairman yantereddeko mukono yo bawe nali nzimba Buganda Land Board teyandise City Council teyandikoze eki ne bonna bazijja ne bazijjako ssente ne bazijjako ebiwandiiko n'enzikirizibwa okuzimba.
Nina endagaano nagulawo nagula sigamba nti oba nti neesenza ebyo bye bagamba mbu twayesenza tetwesenza nze nagula poloti yange.
They also called on Buganda Land Board to clarify on their stance.
Yewe bali batusasula Buganda Land Board okuzimba lwaki tetugamba nti yosiinayo buvunaanyizibwa gavumenti erinayo buvunaanyizibwa naawe nno aba Buganda Land Board mwebereremu muyina okwenoonya mwetereze muyina okulwanira abapangisa bammwe.
One of the area councillors, Lydia Nachito, said that most of the evicted individuals were vulnerable and require aid or resettlement.
Naye embeera etabuse abantu bakeera kunoonya abayamba bannange buli muntu yenna ayina ali eyo ng'osobola okujja okuyamba abantu bano. Jango yamba abantu bano kuba tuli mu state entiisa.
National Environment Management Authority has warned all those in breach of restoration exercise that they will face harsh consequences, including covering the cost of restoration. NEMA also indicated that violators stand a high chance of facing litigation over breach of the restoration process.
We request all those persons who are slowly returning to the restored sites to desist from doing so, because unlike other times, this time, NEMA might take you to the courts of law for prosecution.
Susan Naunga reporting for UBC TV.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has 2 subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amanya gange nze Namutebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanya eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
UBC News Tonight, we thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. Preparations are in full swing as Ugandans gear up for a grand celebration of July 5th to honor President Yoweri Museveni. Organized by the NRM Mobilization Director Rosemary Seninde and fellow patriotists, the event will highlight Museveni's transformative leadership.
This event promises to be both a celebration and a community service initiative. Voluntary contributions and nationwide support underscore the gratitude and respect for the President's achievements.
This is a historic event that is an event organized by Patriotic Ugandans. It's an event not organized by the Secretariat, it is not organized by State House, it is not organized by any ministry. It is organized by Patriotic Ugandans. And I think this must come out very clearly. And it is the reason we are very grateful to all those Ugandans who have come together to say this is the time we need to thank the visionary leader, the man that has brought Uganda to where it is and in the region.
The celebration honors President Museveni and recognizes Ugandans' contributions to supporting his transformative vision. The event promises to be both a celebration and a community service initiative.
Official hashtag for this event is M7 My Brand. Many Ugandans from all walks of life have pledged to transport themselves to this occasion. I want to make this very clear that as organizers, we have not pledged any transportation of people because the resources, the contributions are all made by volunteers. So everyone who will come for this function, the contribution they will put in the in transporting themselves will be a clear sign that they have actually appreciated and is a contribution they are giving towards this function.
Voluntary contributions and nationwide support underscore the gratitude and respect for the President's achievements. The celebration honors President Museveni and recognizes Ugandans' contributions to supporting his transformative vision.
I therefore call upon all of you people in Teso sub-region and the whole of Eastern to come and join us in this celebration. As Generation 7, we are here to celebrate with you. We are here to stand with you for God and my country.
Voluntary contributions have poured in from across the country, including 100 cows, 18 tons of rice, and 20 truckloads of other materials, demonstrating widespread support for the President.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy, and I want to assure you, President Museveni has done so much for this country. When we talk about the roads, we almost have we have the best roads in East Africa, as I said, ladies and gentlemen.
They will also focus on providing vital medical services to the public.
We have cervical cancer screening, we have prostate cancer checking, we have breast cancer, we have ophthalmology clinic coming. That is the eye care. It's going to be here. We have general laboratory testing. It's going to be there. We have disease prevention. Team is going to be here. We have general medical on that day here. We have dental.
Blood donation drives will also be conducted to help combat maternal mortality, which has significantly decreased under President Museveni's leadership. Friday, 5th July, will be a day of celebration, gratitude, and unity as they honor President Yoweri Museveni and the remarkable journey of Uganda under his leadership. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Government has been urged to accelerate the rollout of sign language as a means of communication to foster nationwide appreciation and bridge the inclusivity gap for the deaf community. Despite the presence of sign language, the Uganda National Association of the Deaf notes that the deaf persons continue to lag behind in development due to language barriers.
In September last year, Uganda National Association of the Deaf marked 50 years of existence. During the celebrations, it was acknowledged that the plight of the deaf community in Uganda remains critical, prompting a fundraising drive for impactful developmental projects. According to UNAD leadership, approximately 250 million shillings were collected, enabling several projects to commence.
I'm happy to inform the general public that we have paid and purchased some of these tools for the deaf students who are here at the Evacuation Center. And these tools are up and running, and they're aimed at passing on these skills to these young boys and girls who are deaf in tailoring, knitting, and carpentry. Our target was 500 million, but we managed to get half of that.
In a move to enhance the appreciation and use of sign language, UNAD has embarked on a project to digitalize it. This initiative aims to make sign language more accessible and widely used.
By yesterday, over 2,000 people had already downloaded the app, and it has local signs, how you greet, how you seek food, different signs, and it's an avenue where you can learn by yourself. It's free of charge.
UNAD has also called on government to expedite the rollout of sign language, particularly in public service.
Public service to develop the guidelines through which these interpreters will be working, because it's a step at a time, and that's the kind of advocacy that we're doing at parliamentary level. To call upon you as deaf persons, our hearing partners, ministries, departments and agencies, to please come and make use of UNAD. We are very open. We want to work with government.
Alex Ndezi, the parliamentary representative for persons with disabilities, advocates for affirmative action to address the persistent inequalities faced by the deaf community.
Previously, the women have been pushing for this, and I think it is high time persons with disabilities and deaf persons per se to engage government. That affirmative action that cuts across in all government and ministries.
These updates were shared as UNAD provided an overview of ongoing developmental projects financed by the funds raised during their Golden Jubilee celebrations. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Uganda's, I beg your pardon, Humanity First, Uganda's disaster relief program has extended a lifeline to Doko village in Butaleja district, where floods from River Manafwa left residents homeless. The chairman of Doko village praised Humanity First for consistently easing the suffering of the communities vulnerable with impactful initiatives.
The Director of Disaster Relief reported that over 150 families received essential aid, including mosquito nets, blankets, repellent cream, and spraying pumps.
There are 7 villages which were affected by the water flooding from the river Manafwa. Alhamdulillah, as you have been saying, we first came and visited them, and we gave a task to the LC chairman to take a list of the most vulnerable people. Alhamdulillah, today we have managed to reach out those families. We gathered them in one place, and we distributed to 160 families and more.
Grateful beneficiaries commended Humanity First and its donors for the support during difficult times.
I thank this company for the things you have given us. I thank them very much. May God bless them.
Director of Marketing, Humanity First, Rajab Kazana, expressed his appreciation for the community's resilience and solidarity.
And Butaleja is well known as the most affected district with malaria. We've been able to distribute blankets, mosquito nets, mosquito repellents, and the pump sprays. We were hopeful that this will help them.
Humanity First remains committed to its mission as a non-profit organization offering aid through disaster relief, community care, and water for life, global health, orphan care, gift of sight, and food security initiatives. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
From Butaleja, we'll take a short break. Please keep it with us. We have more.
Hey, business people of Uganda, the Ugandan National Lottery is coming. It's the perfect opportunity to boost your business. Zimba your business by becoming an authorized Uganda National Lottery agent. By paying a security deposit of just 250,000 shillings, you will receive your very own Uganda National Lottery terminal, expert training from the pros themselves, and marketing materials to skyrocket your sales. And with a generous 5% commission on every ticket sold, the potential for earnings is limitless. Don't miss out. Act now and call us toll-free at 0800 33 44 33 to see if you qualify. Join us today and Zimba your business. Ituba Uganda is regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts. in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to invest in agribusiness, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, health and education to improve the quality of life of Ugandans. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
We can do better.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
UBC Business News tonight. Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union has decried the continued illegal taxation by Uganda Revenue Authority despite the presidential directive mandating URA not to tax savings and credit cooperatives, SACCOs. SACCOs blame Uganda Revenue Authority for forcefully deducting taxes off their accounts. These have threatened to take URA's Director General to court for contempt of the law.
The Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, UCUSCO, the apex body for SACCOs in Uganda, is at the center of a significant tax dispute affecting savings and credit cooperatives nationwide. After persistent lobbying, SACCOs were granted a 10-year income tax exemption starting from July 1st, 2017 and ending on June 30th, 2027. This exemption aimed at allowing SACCOs to build their institutional capital and improve services for their members.
And 10 years have not lapsed. We are still within that grace period of the exemption. Except you are the who is carrying out calls on our members.
However, at a press conference held at their head offices in Maganjo, cooperators expressed frustration over continued tax assessments and 30-party agents notices from the Uganda Revenue Authority.
And for us, we are being intimidated by Nansana branch, being charged a total of 60 million, and we are under a debate with the URA staff at Nansana.
Country management and region going to begin with the guys. Maybe they have shelved the document and they will tell you.
And in removing or in tabling the matters regarding the exemptions, he said that is media information.
Despite the tax exemption, many SACCOs have continued to deduct and remit withholding tax on interest and dividends paid to their members, adding to their distress.
We have some of those SACCOs like Chamunga People's SACCO who were asked to pay 284,235,162,000. This is a rural SACCO.
We have really complied with all these other taxes except the taxes that were exempted. And we wonder why they are forcefully now making an attachment on our accounts. We are wondering how we are going to operate.
On October 10, 2023, the Attorney General's Chambers issued guidance to the Ministry of Finance, confirming that the income of SACCOs and their members is tax exempt under the doctrine of mutuality. Following this, on May 6, 2024, the Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union wrote to the Commissioner General of URA, urging compliance with the Attorney General's guidance. Despite this, URA's actions have persisted.
UCUSCO has since learned that instead of complying with the Attorney General's guidance, regional heads of URA have continued to send out assessments and third-party agents notices and frozen bank accounts of some SACCOs.
The union has now urged savings and credit cooperatives not to pay taxes from which they have been exempted, whilst urging them to remain calm as they refer the matter to the Tax Appeals Tribunal.
The orders we are seeking is that any prior or subsequent assessments made should be reversed and the monies which URA has taken from those accounts be refunded back to the SACCOs.
Rebecca Nantongo, Susan Nabugude, UBC News.
Hi, my name is Rachel Ndubuchiri and I am a Ugandan actress and the winner of the Africa Monologue Challenge 2023. Now, thanks to your immense support, the Africa Monologue Challenge Season 2 is coming to Uganda between July 25th and August 20th. Africa Monologue Challenge is looking for passionate Ugandan storytellers to take part in a Pan-African short film that will showcase Uganda to the rest of the world. To be a part of this, all you have to do is weave a captivating narrative that captures Uganda's cultural heritage while fostering connections between 10 diverse individuals from 10 African countries. This short film will be shared to over 50 film festivals. Now, to find information on the AMC 2024 finalists, visit www.africamonologue.com. Please submit your short script, which should be 10 pages for a short film between 10 to 15 minutes, to africamonologue@gmail.com before 30th June 2024. Now, let's talk about rewards. The selected script will have the writer's full name in the end credits. You will get a chance to collaborate with amazing filmmakers from all over the world. You will get a small token for your creativity, and you remain with full ownership of your script. Let's work together to create a Pan-African film that will echo African stories throughout the world.
Sports news tonight. Three athletes, Rashida Najuma, Masho Miro and Arnold Kisulo, proudly represented Uganda at the 2024 Africa Pentathlon Championships held over the week in Alexandria, Egypt. Their remarkable efforts earned Uganda the third place overall trophy in the female category.
Three athletes, Rashida Najuma, Masho Miro and Arnold Kisulo, proudly represented Uganda at the 2024 Africa Pentathlon Championships held over a week in Alexandria, Egypt. Their remarkable efforts earned Uganda the third place overall trophy in the female category. Uganda. The vibrant atmosphere of Alexandria, Egypt provided the backdrop of the 2024 Africa Pentathlon Championships. This marked Uganda's second appearance on the international scene this year. Team captain Rashida Najuma expressed her joy over Uganda's achievement in securing the third place trophy in the female category, highlighting the team's commendable performance.
It has been real good. It has been so challenging, but we managed to work hard as a team. And this is for girls team, best female team. And my teammates did real well with their new personal best.
Happy with my improvement in both swimming and running. Lots of work to do on fencing, but great experience with my teammates, so looking forward to the next one.
Egypt, as expected, dominated the headlines, reaffirming their status as Africa's best in pentathlon. Other participating countries, including Mali, Burkina Faso and South Africa, also delivered strong performances, adding to the competitive spirit of the event. Pentathlon is a sport comprising 5 disciplines: fencing, obstacle racing, swimming, running and shooting. Team Uganda will now shift their focus to the 2025 World Cup, set to take place in March next year in Cairo. Masho Miro Victor, UBC News.
Proudly, Masho Miro is not only a sportsman, but also a journalist, one of us here in UBC. Congratulations. Persons living with disabilities have a chance to show potential at the ongoing para-badminton tournament in Lugogo. 14 countries are competing for points and honor.
Uganda badminton players hope for a good performance at the ongoing para-badminton tournament in Lugogo. The 7th edition that has attracted 14 countries stands as ground to earn points, improving their global ranking. Uganda prides itself in fielding the highest number of competitors in various categories such as standing lower, standing upper and wheelchair.
This
tournament has seen the foreigners perform better than us. They have remarkably improved from last year. They came well prepared. We expect our athletes to display better performances and qualify from the group stages in order to make it to the quarterfinals and semi-finals.
These categories ensure fair competition among athletes with similar physical capabilities competing in the men's singles, women's singles, the doubles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles. With this year's championship highlighting the international appeal and competitive spirit of the event, the tournament promises intense competition and opportunities to athletes to advance their careers on the international stage.
We did not have enough training preparations, but we expect to keep on fighting in order to advance to the later stages of this tournament.
And despite Paralympic slots already determined, athletes stake their place in future high-level tournaments like the World Championships and Asian Games.
And that does it for news tonight. Thank you so much for watching from wherever you are. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Naka and the whole team. Wish you the best of the night. Why? We have Behind the Headlines at 10 p.m. So that is all that newsroom had for you. Bye-bye and good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Every year, the government appropriates funds towards priority development areas. And this Wednesday, on your favorite program, Behind the Headlines, the team will break down the state appropriation and unpack critical funding allocations impacting our communities. From education to infrastructure, every dollar counts. The panel will examine the latest appropriations bill with clarity and depth, revealing its implications for you and your family. On set with Timothy Nyangweso, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, an accountant and member of parliament for Butambala County, Honorable Omara Paul, an astute economist and member of parliament for Otuke County, Dr. Sarah Birete, a lawyer and executive director, Center for Constitutional Governance, Mr. Moses Kagwa, Director of Finance and Economic Affairs at the Ministry of Finance, and our own Professor Sarah Sali, a dean at the School of Women and Gender Studies at Makerere University. Be part of the journey, stay informed and engaged. Tune into State Appropriation Discussion only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja to the town or city near you between July and December this year. Don't miss Uganda's beautiful stories from east to west, north to south in Tuko Pamoja.
Uganda as we see it today never had a name. It had the regions that make it.
The battle for protecting the sovereign Uganda was lost in Dokolo.
Uganda, fortunately for us, is a confluence of all these races, the races of Africa.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
Genetically, we are even
similar people.
We are one. Use that word, Pamoja.
To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
What is a dream? What does it mean to you? To her? To them? It's time we dare to dream anew. Dream bigger, better, bolder. Let's dare to dream of tomorrow, today, of someday, of the hope that comes with change, of a change that transforms lives. That glimmer in your eyes, the prospect of maybe, of all the hopes that we carry. It's the promise of enjoyments, co-enjoyments for you and your mates. A dream keeps us going. It's the one thing that drives us, inspires us, motivates us. One goal, one hope, one dream. With the Uganda National